All right, we're in section 2.4 where we're going to use variables and equations. Um, we've talked about both of these terms in previous sections. Variable is a letter that represents a number or a group of numbers. And an equation, as we talked about, is a math problem that uses an equal sign. So, the more specific definition we have, which is right here, an equation is a mathematical statement formed by placing an equal sign between two expressions. Well, we said expressions were math problems without an equal sign, but if you got two of them that are equal to one another, then you put it there. So the thing I talked about in class was the equal sign is kind of like the balancing scale. In order for the scale to balance, you must have the same amount of stuff on one side of the scale as the other, so they must equal to balance out. So just like what we have here, like 4 plus 5 equals 9. Well, we have one side that just has 4 things and 5 things, and then on the other side one has 9. So like that makes it, equal to one another. But when we bring a solution of a variable equation, we have to make assumptions, knowing that that equal sign means that this equation is balanced. That means we have to determine what that variable has to be in order for our equation to hold true. Kind of like here where I talk about the example of 3x plus 5 equals 17. In order for this to be a equal problem, x must equal 4. Reason for that, because it's 3 times 4, that equals 12. And we know that 12 plus 5 equals the 17. So that's where that checks out. One of the things you're going to look at, especially when you're doing your homework, is being able to, again, translate the verbal model. We did this, I think this was either like the first or second day of this class, and these are different ways you can write addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and also we're going to incorporate now what is considered to be equal. And anytime you see is equal to or is, that's another way of saying equal sign in our math problems. So here, these are some verbal statements that are given to us, and we're going to try to put math problems from this statement. So it has the sum of 3 and z is negative 10. So I have sum. Sum means addition. So the sum of 3 and z is, and that means that's going to be equals negative 10. So this is where, and I apologize, this should be negative. So going to the next one, we have the quotient of m. Quotient means division. Quotient of m and 6 is 4. So m divided by 6 equals 4. That's what that statement's telling us. The next one here, it says tell whether negative 5 or 5 is the solution of negative 8y equals 40. So all you got to do is this, is you got to see if, so you got negative 8 multiplied by negative 5, and then you got negative 8 multiplied by 5. We remember from previous sections that when you're dealing with multiplication, if they're the same sign, they're going to be positive. Well, this is going to be a positive 40. So this is where my positive 40 comes in, and when the signs are different in multiplication, it's always going to be negative. So the answer to this one here is -5, and it shows up in this statement here. Keeping on with different examples of the verbal model, we have the difference of 11 and y is -9. So we have 11 minus, that's where the difference comes in, y equals a -9. For b, we have 12b equals -108. It says 12 times the number is -108. We want to know what is that number. So what is going to make this statement true? And what you can do is do a little trial and error. You know for a fact that it's going to be negative because the result is negative, because they're different signs. And I know that 12 times the -9 is equal to -108. Last problem we have here is we have a story problem. It says, while traveling a long distance, an elephant and a family walks at a rate of about 10 miles per hour. Find the approximate time it takes an elephant to travel 60 miles. It says, use an equation to solve the problem. So first thing we have to do is we have to make a variable for the number of hours an elephant travels. And what we can use is 10x or 10x equals 60, because we know that the elephant travels at a rate of 10 miles per hour, and they want to know how many miles it is. And we know that they're traveling 60 miles. What we don't know is how much time it takes. And so we have to figure out what x must be for this statement to hold true. And in this case, it is x equals 6 hours. And that is being able to use variables and equations. Hope this helps. Until next time.